Our first speaker today is J. Boyd Page. Mr. Page is the founding partner of an Atlanta-based law firm, Page and Basic, which is now Page Perry. As a matter of disclosure, I have to reveal that Boyd is very intelligent because he has hired my daughter not once but twice. And he is going to talk to us today about what to look for regarding investment advisors, how to avoid problems with that we've all been reading about, and so we can do better due diligence on the advisors that we use. Boyd?
Thank you. I've got a couple of disclosures in advance, too. I think Rich made a mistake by having me here rather than Kelly. She's a heck of a lot smarter and certainly much more attractive. But I do appreciate very much the opportunity to be here. It's always a pleasure to, speak with a panel of well-known experts. Actually, you're going to find that it's going to get a lot better after my session. I'm going to talk to you about common sense, things you may not have thought of, things that you probably have heard before. And really what I'm going to talk about is navigating around troubles in tough economic waters. We have a diverse crowd. We have people that are in the investment business. We have investors. We have money managers, investment advisors, a broad array. And I'm going to try and at least slant my talk to address each of those and problems I see, what I do, and an effort to try and give you some thoughts on what might be reasonable practices, good practices. I have done this before by way of background. Our firm in Atlanta is 12 lawyers. We have a couple of lawyers that work with us part-time. We do an array of stuff across the securities industry. We do compliance work for RIAs. We represent some small brokerage firms. Small is relative, but in the big picture of things. We do some public offerings. We do regulatory work. Without question, our flagship is probably representing investors in securities, litigation, and arbitration. Having said that, we also have represented major firms in litigation. We've represented owners or CEOs of major firms in litigation and arbitration. I have served on a number of NASD, now FINRA committees. For the last 13 years, I've served on the Compliance Advisory Committee for Edward Jones, which is a committee that meets several times a year for two purposes. The first is to sit down with the senior officers of the firm, discuss what's going on out there, where are some of the risks, what are some of the problems, how might they be addressed. The second day is an 8-hour seminar, which is conducted for the senior officers of the firm, the major supervisory personnel of the firm, and some of the very top investment consultants at the firm, financial advisors. I'm very fortunate on that committee to work with Irving Pollock, the former commissioner of the SEC, with Don Langevort, a well-known professor of securities law at Georgetown University, and with Hillary Sale, equally well-known professor of securities law at Washington University. A past member of the committee has been Joel Seligman, who is probably regarded as the person in the world most knowledgeable about the history of the securities industry. He is a president of Rochester University and the author of a 14-volume treatise on securities regulation. My purpose here is really to try and address concerns across the board, to try to help you appreciate what's out there and to help you appreciate the risk that's out there, perhaps to scare you a little bit, but also to try and tell you litigation and arbitration are bad, regardless of who's right and regardless of who's wrong. I mean, you can spend lots of money, lots of time, and lots of heartache when problems arise, and they affect both sides. I mean, again, sometimes it is a battle of last resort, but you really, it's sort of like that old, advertisement on TV about putting oil in your car. You can pay me now or you can pay me a lot more later. Well, that's really true, I think, in the investment business. I think it's true for money managers. I think it's true for investment advisors. I think it's true for customers. And you really need to think that often an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Litigation is just not fun. And for those of you in the industry, it's often even more dangerous because of what I call reputational risk and because of what I call bigger problems.